The UN chief also lamented the tragic human toll in Gaza. More than 30,000 dead, over 70,000 injured, and an unknown number of people lie under mounds of rubble that epitomizes life in the enclave today.
The Secretary General condemns the incident today in northern Gaza, in which more than 100 people were reportedly killed or injured while seeking life-saving aid. The desperate civilians in Gaza need urgent help, including those in the besieged northern part of Gaza, where the United Nations has not been able to deliver aid for more than a week. The Secretary General reiterates his call for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire and the unconditional release of all the hostages held in Gaza. He once again calls for urgent steps so that critical humanitarian aid can get into and across Gaza for all those who so desperately need it.
In a social media post, the Israeli Defense Force explained that after humanitarian aid trucks entered northern Gaza earlier Thursday, residents surrounded the trucks and looted the supplies. The IDF says that as a result of pushing, trampling and being run over by the trucks, dozens of Gazans were killed or injured, an explanation SABC News is unable to independently verify. They further indicate that the incident remained under review, confirming that their forces fired on those who posed a threat.
My understanding this far, and this is unfolding, as I say, and developing, my understanding thus far is that humanitarian aid vehicles entered the Gaza Strip and were overwhelmed by people attempting to essentially loot, to take that aid from those aid trucks. At some point, the trucks were overwhelmed, and the people driving the trucks, which were Gazan civilian drivers, plowed into the crowds of people, ultimately killing, my understanding is, tens of people. I don't have anything more specific to that. It is unfolding.
As the UN spokesperson was pressed on who exactly the Secretary General was condemning, here's that exchange.
You've laid out some of the confusion around this incident, right, which the Secretary General has condemned. Who should then receive this condemnation?
As I said, we don't know exactly what the facts are, except that people, men, women, and children died in horrendous situation, in horrendous conditions. As I told him, there will be a time for accountability. We want to see an immediate humanitarian ceasefire so that we can distribute aid in an organized, predictable, and safe manner, which is currently not an option for us.
So who should receive that message?
We've said it to the Israelis, we've said it to all of the parties involved, and we've said it very publicly, I might add.
Departing the White House, the US president said the incident complicated talks on a new hostage for ceasefire deal, as they too were trying to establish the facts.
We're checking that out right now. There's 250 birds in what I don't have an answer yet.
Palestinian eyewitness accounts say they were targeted by Israeli fire while collecting aid, with Israeli tanks reportedly shooting at people randomly, prompting a social media post from the Director General in South Africa's Department of International Relations, Zane Dangor, calling the incident an atrocity on starving Palestinians seeking life-saving aid, and that while the country continued to pursue legal remedies at the International Court of Justice, he added that an unconditional ceasefire in Gaza was the only moral choice. Sherwin Brycebees, SABC News, New York.